Peace everybody, back with another video. This is about the real-life werewolf that terrorized France in the 1700s. And as you can see here in the screenshot is the werewolf that's been terrorizing in France. France is an amazing nation known for everything from world-class cheeses to Napoleon. Werewolves, though? Believe it or not, the late 1700s were a surprisingly scary time to be a French peasant, primarily because an legendary supernatural creature terrorized hundreds of people. This might sound like a wacky tall tale, but these murders were all too real, and centuries later, the true identity of the so-called beast of Gévaudan remains one of history's great mysteries. Yes, so France is totally an amazing nation. You have world-class cheeses, all the way to Napoleon. Now, but what about werewolves? Well, believe it or not, in the late 1700s was a surprisingly scary time to be a French peasant, primarily because of the legendary supernatural creature. It had terrorized hundreds of people. This might sound like a wacky tall tale, but these numbers were all too real. So the werewolf has really killed a lot of people in France during the 1700s. And of course, here's the screenshot of a soldiers are trying to get this werewolf or whatever. Okay, so here are the facts from 1764 to 1767. According to National Geographic, the French region of Gévaudan saw scores of innocent civilians brutalized and or slaughtered by an alleged beast. The first attack happened to a 14-year-old girl, as Vice explains, who was found with her throat gouged out. Soon the body count piled up, and local villagers became convinced that a supernatural entity was responsible, which possessed the ability to shapeshift from beast to human. Eyewitnesses described a Garganian canine covered in red-black fur, according to Atlas Obscuria, and before long, newspapers across Europe was discussing France's werewolf issues. Okay, so from 1764 to 1767, according to National Geographic, the French region of Gévaudan saw scores of innocent civilians brutalized, all right, and they were either slaughtered by an alleged beast. Now, the first attack did happen on a 14-year-old girl. Her body was found with her throat gouged out. Then after the body counts piled up, and local villagers became convinced that a supernatural entity was responsible. So they have been convinced that the werewolf is real during that time, and that people were dying in France because of this werewolf that was going around killing everybody. Now, this created a big PR problem for old King Louis the X. So he rounded up some accomplished monster hunters and sent them into the woods. Since this was real life instead of a horror movie, they didn't find any werewolves. Thus, beast attacks continued for a full 3 years until a French farmer named Jean Castel decided finally that he'd had enough. As the story goes, this dude melted down a religious amulet into silver bullets, tracked the beast into the woods, and sat praying over an open Bible to taunt the demon into attacking him. When it did, he shot it dead and carted his ridiculously massive carcass to King Louis. Alright, so now it became more of a problem for old King Louis the 10th or the 15th. I'm sorry, I don't know my numbers too well and like that. So he rounded up some accomplished monster hunters and they sent them into the woods since this was real life instead of a horror movie. So it wasn't a horror movie at all. This was real life. They didn't find any werewolves though. Um, but the beast kept attacking, continued for a full 3 years until a French farmer named Jean Castille decided finally that he had enough. So he's had enough of all these people being killed allegedly by a werewolf. As the story goes, this dude melted down a religious amulet into silver bullets. And of course, you know, silver bullets will kill a werewolf. Tracked the beast into the woods and sat praying over an open Bible. So he was sitting over an open Bible. And it was to taunt the demon that's attacking him. When it did, he shot it dead and carted its ridiculous massive carcass to King Louis. So, yeah, so he carried the body, or carted the body to King Louis. The the end, or was it? And of course, you know, here's this thing of what it's supposed to be. Similar to how there's no real chupacabra, but lots of real chupacabra sightings that eventually proved to be coyotes with mange. The legends surrounding the beast of Javadian were certainly based on real animal attacks. What kind of animal, though? Was it really just the big wolf that Jean Chastel shot? Yeah, so it was a it was it was supposed to be eventually proved to be coyotes with mange. And, you know, animal or dogs and cats, they get mange because I don't know, they're allergic to something or whatever. But this one, all right, the legends surrounding the beast of Javadian were certainly biased on real animal attacks. But what kind of animal attacks? So we just don't know what kind of animal attacks. But in France, in real life, they supposed to be a werewolf have killed everybody, a lot of people there, and it started with a 14-year-old girl. Was it really just the big wolf that Jean Chastel shot? Well, it might have been, but then again, it might have been something else. Probably not. If anything, it's more likely that the attacks were perpetrated by a whole pack of wolves, if not wolf dog hybrids, possessing an unusually aggressive temperament. Some have further speculated that Chastile's beast corpse might have been his own mastiff, while others theorized that the beast could have been a rogue hyena, which sounds wild until you hear the even wilder theory that it might have been an escaped lion, simply being misidentified because, well, you don't really expect a lion to come rushing at you in France, right? Well, yeah, that's true. You can't expect a lion to come rushing at you in France because, I don't know, they keep them in zoos and that. But anything, it's more likely that the attacks were perpetrated by a whole pack of wolves. So it could have been a whole pack of wolves, but then again, it could have been something else. If not wolf dog hybrids possessing an unusually aggressive temperament. So they have aggressive temperaments on them. Some have further speculated that Chastel's beast corpse might have been his own mastiff. So it could have been his own mastiff. and mastiffs are dogs, while others theorize that the beast could have been a rogue hyena, which sounds wild until you hear the even wilder theory that it might have been an escaped lion. So I don't think a lion would just come rushing up at you at the very last minute, because lions are carnivores. They don't eat humans at all. The truth sadly remains unrevealed. Either way, the whole diabetical is a fascinating footnote in French history and continues inspiring a great deal of popular werewolf folklore to this day. So yeah, so the truth sadly remains unrevealed. So we don't know what really happened during that time. Either way, the whole diabetical is a fascinating footnote in French history. That's all it is. And continues inspiring a great deal of popular werewolf folklore to this day. So, if there are still werewolves in France today, well, I guess everybody need to prepare themselves and get silver bullets or anything to shoot them, because silver bullets will kill a werewolf because they cannot stand the silver in them. And of course, this will never be solved at all. But during the 1700s, who knows what happened during that time period? Anything could have happened during that time. Leave your comments below. I am out.